Back to my channel, Sparkle and Glue. I hope everybody's having a great day today. I thought we would work on a reverse waterfall pocket folio. So what we're going to do today, we're not going to be decorating it, but we're just going to go ahead and make the base together. And I have a cutting guide here, so if you want to take a screenshot of that. And it's 8.5 by 6.5 is what it's going to end up being. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll leave the cutting guide out so we can follow it together. So I'm taking a 12 by 12 piece of paper and I'm cutting this at 8.5. And then save this because we're going to use that piece next. You're going to score on the 12-inch side, and I'm just looking for my little scores. Okay, so we're going to score on the 12-inch side, and you're going to score at 6.5 and 7. And then you go ahead and fold on the score lines, and this is making the base of our folio. The cardstock, I believe, is 80 pounds that I'm using here. Okay, and now you're going to take the second piece that we just cut, and you're going to leave it the same width and cut it at 8.5. Okay, and then this one we're going to score on the 1/2 and the 1, and you're doing it on the 3.5 side. So the 1/2 and the 1. And then go ahead and make your folds. And then what this is doing is creating our 1/2-inch gusset. And I'll just take a little glue. This glue I'm using here is Aleene's. I'm also going to be using the Art Glitter glue. So Art Glitter glue dries much quicker. The problem I have is that I like to have a little more time to move my paper around and get it straight. Art Glitter glue doesn't give you much time, so that's kind of... And if you don't use too much Aleene's, it does dry pretty quick as well. Okay, so basically we have our start of our folio, and I'm going to just put this to the side right now, and let's work on our band. So this is where the waterfall is going to sit. So it's 9.5 by 5 3/4. So again, I'm still using 12 by 12. I may switch to 11.5, 11 by 8. Just use what you have. The first piece though, I guess you could figure out how to do it not on a 12-inch, but it seems to work best. Anyway, so we're doing the band, so we're going to cut 9.5. And I'm doing it by 5 3/4. Okay, and then what you're going to do is you're going to score on the 9.5 side, and you're going to be scoring at 1/2 and 9. So we're going to score at 1/2, and we're going to score at 9. And then you're going to fold on your score lines, and bring back your folio. And what we're going to be doing is we're placing this right inside the base here, so we can add the waterfall on top of it, and it will make sense as we go. So I'm just putting glue on both sides. You can put glue on one and glue it, and then glue the top, then the bottom, whatever is comfortable for you. What you want to do is you want to line, just kind of center it. You don't want to get it on any of our score lines because you want this to fold. go ahead and just do your best to line it up. And I'm just going to use, just push down. Okay, so basically what you have, this is all open underneath. So this is where our waterfall is going to be able to slide. So you only want to glue just the folded parts. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and work on the cards. You know what? Let me see. We're going to do the base, which is 8 by 6. Okay, let's do that first. And I don't think this is long enough. No. So we're going to take... Okay, so I'm cutting this at 8 and then 6. And then you're going to score on the 8-inch side, and we have a lot of score lines on this one. So we're going to do, and it's every half is really what it is. So it's a half, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5. So you can just go ahead and do a half, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4. And then you're going to stop. And then what you want to do is go ahead and fold on all your score lines. And we're going to be gluing our 4 by 6 photo cards to this to make our reverse waterfall. And if you want to fold back the other way, you can. You're going to leave the top score line free because we're going to glue that on to our base. All right, so these all are folded. So I'm going to take another 12 by 12. I'm going to take 2. I'm going to cut it in half at 6. And then you're going to do 4. So you have 4. You're going to cut another 4. And then that leaves us, so right now you have 1, they're sticking together, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces, and you need 7. So we already cut this at 6, so just go ahead and go to 4, and that'll give you your 7th card. Okay. These do not need to be scored, but what we're going to do, let me move the scoreboard because I don't need it right this second. Okay, so what we're going to be doing, so the first line, just fold under, because that is what we are gluing to our base, and I'll show you here. Just move this. So this is going to be glued right here, and it is just a smidge bigger than our belly band or our band down here. So go ahead, and what you're going to do is just put glue on your it's actually the second score line. And you're going to take your card and try to line it up the best you can. Add a little light. Okay. And just kind of line it up. You're going to push down, and then what you're doing is you're folding and pushing down. So now you have the next line available. And you're going to go ahead and put glue on this. And again, you're just going to try to line it up. Go ahead and push down, give it a minute to dry. You're going to fold up and push down. And now you have your next line. And we're just going to continue on with this until we have all 7 glued. And just place it, push down, give it a minute to dry, fold up. So, go ahead and next line. I'm going to go ahead and same thing. Push down. Fold up. All right. We're getting there. So, okay. Now we're going to, we're almost there. Push down. Fold up. Okay. And here we go. Going to push down and fold up. Okay, and now our last one. And what we want to do with this one is you want to line it up, but we're also going to glue it to our base. So put your glue here because you definitely want a good seal. But then what I do is just put glue on the rest of the inside of your card, or either side, doesn't matter, but this is what's going to go on the bottom. Okay, and you're going to go ahead and line it up. But then you're pushing down so it glues to the base of your card. Okay. And now we have our waterfall, and this is the idea of what's going to happen. So bring your base back, take your first tab that we didn't glue, and we're going to glue this to the very top. So go ahead and put a little glue on. And then what you want to do is line it up with the top. And like I said, it's a little bigger. So you just want to make sure you're not in your score lines. And go ahead and push down. To push down here. Okay, so now you have your folio and we're at the beginning of our waterfall. All right, so the next one we're going to work on is the slide band. So what I did is I cut mine at 1 inch. And you're going to need 2 of them. So just cut. All right, and I cut one at 8 and one at 7. This, you could do this probably a little smaller, or but I just found this works. And so you have 2 strips, and what you're going to do is you're going to put these together, and we're going to make a sliding band with it. And because I made it a little bigger, you don't have to really measure out. But what you want to do is you want to get them to just make one piece. So push down. And you want to wait till the glue dries, because you don't want it sticking anywhere you know, so we're going to put it underneath, just like this. Lift your waterfall. What we want this to do is slide. So you're going to fold it, but not too tight. So just see what feels right. That definitely is going to slide. So just when you fold it, like I said, you want it close, but not too tight. You want to make sure that it freely moves. And when you get that, go ahead and glue it together. And again, just make sure that it's not gluing itself to the band here. And you feel like that's pretty good. Just make sure it's not, you know what, let me add a little more glue to the tip here. I didn't do that. Okay, let's see how we do now. All right, and just push down and give it a chance to dry. And like, I feel some glue under here and I don't want it to stick here. So just give it a minute until you feel like it won't stick to your page anymore. It's feeling pretty good. And again, you want to make sure it slides. Now what we're going to do is we're going to glue it to the bottom of this. So you're going to place glue on your band and leave a little bit on the sides that don't have glue, because, and then what you want to do is just where this is going to line up, you're going to glue it on top. And I think that looks pretty straight. So you're going to push down. Okay. And this is what should happen. And you see how easy it slides. If you're having trouble with it sliding, maybe one of your score lines aren't folded enough. It wasn't. So just kind of rescore them, push them down. You're training the paper to do what you want it to do. So, and the reason why this is called a reverse waterfall is because it's going up. It's in the down position and it's going forward. Okay, so what we did is we did the band, and now just a little pull tab. So what you want to do is maybe a little piece that's 2 by 2. And just cut one from a piece of scrap. This again could be a little bit of a different size, whatever you like, and I'll probably cover it with some paper when I decorate. So you just have a little piece of 2 by 2, and what you want to do is you want to glue it underneath here, and you don't want it hanging out. Well, I don't, because it usually it'll get caught. So you want to glue it somewhere like right under there. So I don't know if you want to make a line, just so you know where to do your glue. But, so now I'm going to go above this line here for my glue. And again, don't use too much glue because you don't want this sticking to other things. All you want to do is slide it under. Try to find where you think the middle is. You can measure if you want to be more precise. I don't know, that looks pretty good. So just line it up and push down. And we're going to give this a chance to dry. And then you have your little tab that just slides on your waterfall. All right. And now what I did is I made some pockets here. A side pocket. I did 3 layered pockets. So let's do that together. But if you have another option that you would prefer, a side pocket or just one pocket, certainly there's plenty of room here to do different designs for different things. I'm going to leave this side blank because I'm putting a magnet on here and I want it to be able to hold. And this piece isn't very big, but you probably could do something there as well if you wanted to. All right, so let's work on the pockets. So what we're going to do is they're all going to be 3 pockets. They're all 5.5. So let's do 5.5. And the largest one I have is by 5.5. So this is our first pocket. And the next one is 5.5. And I did this one by 4.5. Okay. And then you're going to do 5.5 by 3.5. That piece might have worked, but okay. And so this is how your pockets are coming together. So let's get our scoreboard. And then you're going to score every single piece exactly the same. You want to score on 3 sides, which we're making a pocket. So you're going to score at 1/2, 5, turn it over, or turn it around and do 1/2. So 1/2, 1/2, and 5. And again, 1/2, 5, and 1/2. Okay. I cut these together. I'm going to show you what I do, but you can do this separate. So since they're all the same size, I want to miter all the corners so they're easier to fold in. So I'm just holding them all together and cutting. But you could do this separate if you don't feel comfortable. This is just left over. Okay, now you have your 3 pockets, and what we want to do is we want to fold on all the score lines. And then we're just going to layer them in our folio on top of each other. So I'm just trying to get a little fold so it's easier to glue. Okay, and take our largest pocket. And then you can either glue the largest pocket down first and then layer them on top. You can glue them together before you place them down. It's certainly whatever you feel comfortable with. Also, we're not decorating right now, but what you might want to do is put a piece of your decorator cardstock on this before you put the pockets, if you want. You don't have to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to glue the largest pocket first. And I'm just centering mine. And just give it a minute to dry. Push down. Let's take our next pocket. And again, this is really more of a preference on what you want for when you decorate. And let's go ahead, just push down. I got some glue on here. I was doing so good. That's what happens when you use too much. All right, and our last pocket. Let's go ahead and glue it down. And I'll do another video with mine decorated so you can see. Okay, so here's what we have. So I'm going to add a magnet here just to keep it closed. There are other options for closures if you'd prefer, but that's what I'm going to use. You have 3 pockets here, and then your reverse waterfall with 4x6 photos. And so the front is 4x6. This is a little smaller, but I'm going to be covering it with paper. But it's for plenty of photos. And then this underneath, and I'm not sure what I might just put a piece of paper here. You want to make sure that you leave it where it can move freely. So if you put different size paper, this could stick. So you definitely want to be careful about that. But this, you know, reveals to this, you could do a lot of different things with this. This might be a nice place for a note, a saying, but up to you. But again, just the main thing is that it still slides and doesn't get stuck. Okay, well that's our folio. I hope you enjoyed making it with me today. I'd love to see what you guys come up with. And again, thank you so much for stopping by, and I hope you have a great day. Take care.